welcome back to today's video. Today we have a haul slash try on slash full face of a makeup brand that I haven't tried yet. Thought we would try it together, so let's jump right into it. So the brand we're going to be using today is Wet n Wild. The first thing I'm going to start out with is I'm going to prime my eyes, and for that I'm going to use the Wet n Wild MegaLast Incognito Concealer. So we're going to set that with the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus Translucent Powder, and then set my eyelids. Alright, so now that we got our eyes primed and set, we're going to go in and do our eyeshadow. So for that, we're going to use the Wet n Wild Color Icon. I'm going to go ahead and swatch this palette for you guys. Alright, so there is the full Wet n Wild Color Icon palette swatched. All 10 shades. So to start out, I'm going to be taking this grayish tone transition color. Alright, next on a little bit smaller of a tapered blending brush, I'm going to be taking this darker brown shade. We're going to go into that deep green shade. We're going to pop that right there beneath the crease. Alright, now going in with our finger, we're going to take the bronze shimmer shade, and right there next to the green, we're going to press that on our eyelid. Alright, and then going into this shimmer shade, we're going to pop that on the inner portion of the eye. Alright, and then for a brow highlight, we're going to go into this little vanilla shade here on a shader brush, just on the top part. And we're just going to pop that right into the arch of the brow. Alright, next we're going to move on to face. So to start out, we're going to go in with the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. It says it's the one silicone-free primer that does it all. It says it mattifies, it hydrates, it blurs pores, and it preps skin for lasting makeup. So we're going to take just a little bit of this. Oh my god. I got eyeshadow all over my face. So for foundation, we're going to go in with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. It says it is a matte finish, and I got the shade 365C in soft beige. So when you open it up, it's got a little spatula. So I guess you just scoop and slather. Huh. Well, I have never had a foundation that has one of these. This will be interesting. So to see the performance on this particular foundation, so we're going to do half the face with a sponge and half the face with a brush. So we're going to do this side with a sponge. I'm just going to put a few dots. Alright, and then with our e.l.f. Paradise Beauty sponge, we're going to begin to stamp that out. Okay, so far I really like this foundation. I like the finish. I like the coverage. So this is the side with the foundation, and this is without. Okay, so for this side of the face, we're actually going to be using the Eco Tools Ultimate Buff Brush. Alright, I'm going in with our brush, and I'm just going to stamp. So with the sponge, being that it does absorb more product, you will get a more natural medium, light to medium, can be built up full coverage with a sponge, but with your brush, you will kind of immediately get that medium to full coverage. So now the foundation itself did apply very, very nicely with both a brush and the beauty sponge. So far, this is what she looks like. I plan on doing a check-in, kind of letting you guys know how I feel about everything. All right, so next, to pop a little concealer on the under eyes and any additional places needed, we're going to go back in with the Wet n Wild MegaLast Incognito. And this claims to have all day full coverage. All right, so we're going to put some right there in our dark areas. Anytime I'm doing a more heavy eye, especially with kind of glittery or shimmery, I like to do my eyes first, so that way if I have any fallout, I can kind of wipe that away before I go in with my foundation or powder or anything else, just so that way that glitter doesn't fall on top of, and then I've kind of look like I've been glitter bombed. And then at that point, there's really nothing you can do about it, because glitter just stays everywhere for all of eternity. And then I'm going to go back in with our sponge and blend out the areas we're going to be getting a little bit more coverage, and also doing a little bit of highlighting. So far I'm very impressed with this concealer. It gives a very hydrated, natural finish. All right, so next, to set our under eyes and then any places that we've used the concealer to highlight, we're going to go in with the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus Banana Powder. It comes in the same packaging as the translucent one. To set the remainder of the face, we're going to go back in with the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus Translucent Powder. I'm just lightly setting the remainder of my face. Alright, so now that we've got our face set, we're going to go into the Wet n Wild MegaGlo Contouring Palette. So typically contour shades are a little bit more cool toned. And this definitely is a little bit more cool toned than a standard bronzer, but it is leaning more towards the warm side. All right, and so for our contour powder, we are going to be using the LA Colors Face Powder Brush. So we're gonna dip into the contour side, but I start out lightly because contour powder can get away from you and look kind of just like you've smeared a brown line on there. So that's why we kind of like to use a more fluffy brush, so that way we can kind of get that blended out. I'm going to go back in and blend that out further. Now when you're blending out your contour powder, be sure not to be swiping your brush all over your face. You just want to keep that powder in that one concentrated area. Alright, and we're also going to contour our jawline as well. So going back into the contour palette, and then just right there, just below your jawline, you want to place that right along the bottom. And then just slightly blend down your neck. Alright, and then we're also going to put a little bit of this contour shade on our forehead, just to create a little bit more dimension. We're going to put that almost right in our hairline. So here's the side without any contour at all. And then here's the side with full contour. Now this lighter shade, this is kind of more the highlight shade. If you maybe went down a little bit too far with your contour, you could probably dip into this lighter shade and kind of use that to bring a little bit more definition back into that contour line. Or you could even use this kind of like an under eye setting powder, kind of almost exactly how we used the PhotoFocus Wet n Wild Banana shade. You could use that in all the same places. So if you wanted to just get this and kind of have the duo action situation going on, as opposed to having to buy the banana powder one standalone, this would be a good option for you to get both. Next, so we're going to go into a bronzer. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer. Take a little bit of that. We're going to go just under the contour shade on the forehead. And this is just going to bring some warmth back into our face. Alright, and then when you go to do bronzer on your cheeks, we're just doing slightly above the contour powder. Alright, next we're going to go into blush and highlighter. So for that, I've got the Hello Halo Blushlighters, the Wet n Wild. I have got two shades. One is Flash Me, and then one is Highlight Bling. So actually I'm going to use this one's blush and this one's highlighter. So for the blush, I'm going to use the brush Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH05. Just a short fluffy brush. I'm going to dip into this side. Since it does have a little bit of shimmer, I am going to keep it up higher, more towards the, right above the bronzer, and then just right below where I'm going to place highlight. Ooh, I like that. Kind of reminds me of the Milani Baked blushes, the Dulce Pink. I really like, except it's just a little bit more deeper, a little bit more mauve-y, but it's got that nice shimmer without it actually having glitter in it. Alright, and then for highlighter, we're going to go into the Highlight Bling, and we're going to use the light pinky vanilla diamondy highlighter shade. I'm going to just pop that a little onto the tops of my cheekbones. And then just dust a little over the top of my eyebrow. Woo! Alright, so we're back with brows on. So a brow product that Wet n Wild did have that I was interested in trying is the Wet n Wild Brow-Sessive Brow Shaping Gel. It's just in a transparent gel. Almost kind of has like a white color to it, but I'm hoping it will dry clear. And just comb through my brows gently. Okay, so now that our brows are finished, we're going to do a little bit of eyeshadow work on the bottom lashes. So I'm going to go in with this pencil brush. This is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH38 brush. And I'm going to go in with this taupey shade. Capping off any excess, because if this does have any fallout or kickback, now that I do have on my base, I don't want this to fall down and give me something to clean up with. So I'm going to be very, very careful with this. Right, and then now I'm going to go in with a deeper brown shade and just put that more towards the outer part of my eye. And then kind of bringing it up to connect to that darker green. Alright, and then with the little fluffy tiny blending brush, we're going to use the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH40 and go under and just blend those colors out. And not bringing them too far in to the inner part of the eye. Right, and then with a flat shader brush, the E shading E55, we're going to go into this shimmery shade, the little vanilla shade, and then pop that on the inner portion of the eye, bringing it just a little into the inner corner to highlight that inner corner. Alright, now that we've completed our eyeshadow look, we're going to go in with a eyeliner to intensify the waterline. This is the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Retractable Gel Liner. This is in the shade Black. And it's just a retractable pencil. We're going to put that on our waterline. This is the Colourpop BFF Cream Gel Liner. This is in Swerve, which is just a black shade. All right, and we're going to pop this in the other waterline. Okay, so do you guys see how much easier that went on and how much more color payoff that we got just in the one swipe? I'll go ahead and take that on my other eye as to darken that up so we can get it to match. Alright, so next we're going to go in with a little top liner. This is the MegaSlim Skinny Tip Eyeliner. This is also in black. Just a little liquid liner that's just got the tiniest little tip on it. We're going to snug that into our upper lash line, just real close because I don't want it to be too thick to cover up our eye look, but I do want to add a little bit more definition to the lash line. Alright, next we're going to go in with lip. This is the Wet n Wild Cloud Pout Marshmallow Lip Mousse, which just sounded like it was going to be so comfortable. I'm all about a comfortable lip. This is in the shade Girl, You're Whipped. It smells wonderful. Like it legit smells like strawberry marshmallows or something. Alright, so next we're going to go in with mascara. We're going to use the Wet n Wild Big Poppa mascara. There's the wand. We're going to go in on the upper lashes. I cannot get over how good this lip stuff smells, guys. It's so good. Alright, now bottom lashes. Alright, last step, we're going to set this all in place. We're going to be using the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus Natural Finishing Spray. Natural Finish Setting Spray. Alright. God. That comes out insane. Like, it's just not like, it's like whoosh, whoosh. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it though. Like, it kind of gets it on there, and it's like a micro fine sprayer. So it's not like just chunking the setting spray all over your face. Like, it just gets it on there. And you know how normally, like, if it just like, you know, and just barely sprays out, it kind of like doesn't even actually go onto your face. It's just like floating off in the distance. You're like, okay, well, you know, whatever. But this one, it just like directly on there. So I actually kind of like that. That was different. That was definitely a different little setting spray experience for sure. All right, so here's the finished look. So I kind of want to see how all these products wear. So far they have applied beautifully and the colors are beautiful. The smells beautiful. Application process easy, except for the eyeliner. I'm very disappointed in that. Maybe it'll do better on the top lash line. I'll try it, but so far not the biggest fan of that. But I am going to wear this for a little while and I'll be back to check in with you guys. So I'll see you in a few.